Welcome friends to a new session on molecular biology. In this session, we will discuss post-transcriptional processes, RNA processing, splicing, capping and polyadenylation. First, let us see about post-transcriptional processes, RNA processing, splicing, capping and polyadenylation. RNA synthesis or transcription is the process of transcribing DNA nucleotide sequence information into RNA sequence information. RNA synthesis is catalyzed by a large enzyme called RNA polymerase. RNA synthesis takes place in three stages: initiation, elongation and termination. The initial products of transcription are further processed in eukaryotes. The most extensively modified transcription product is pre-mRNA. Most pre-mRNA molecules undergo post-transcriptional modifications. The pre-mRNA molecules are spliced out to remove the introns. Moreover, both the 5' and 3' ends are modified by capping and polyadenylation, and the pre-mRNA molecules are converted into mRNA as shown in this figure. Although the overall process of RNA synthesis is similar in eukaryotes and prokaryotes, but the process is more complex in eukaryotes. The structural genes for protein coding in eukaryotes are transcribed in the nucleus, but the RNA transcript in the nucleus differs from mRNA used for translation in the cytoplasm. Prokaryotic mRNAs often contain the coding regions of 2 or more genes. Such mRNAs are said to be multigenic. On the other hand, many of the eukaryotic transcripts contain the coding region of a single gene are said to be monogenic. However, recent studies indicate that up to 1/4 of the transcription units in the small worm, the binomial name of which is Cynoharbiditis elegans, may be multigenic. Clearly, eukaryotic mRNAs may be monogenic or multigenic. This RNA transcript in the nucleus, due to its broad size distribution, is called heterogeneous nuclear RNA (hnRNA) and is much larger than its corresponding mRNA. The fate of this hnRNA can be one of the following: 1. RNA transcripts of some genes do not seem to give rise to any cytoplasmic mRNA, but get degraded within the cytoplasm. 2. For each gene, only a small proportion, 25% of RNA transcripts takes part in RNA processing, leading to formation of mRNA, the remaining 75% undergoing degradation in the nucleus. Due to these two events, only 5% of hnRNA enters the cytoplasm. This also suggests that regulation of gene expression is also exercised at the level of hnRNA. The mRNA undergo 3 post-transcriptional modifications. 1. Addition of CAPS 7-methyl guanine at 5' end. 2. Addition of poly A tail at 3' end, called as polyadenylation after the enzymatic cleavage, and 3. RNA splicing. It has been shown that cleavage and polyadenylation usually precede RNA splicing, although there is no causal relationship between the two. Besides the protein coding genes, there are other genes like those for ribosomal RNA rRNA and transfer RNA tRNA, which are involved in RNA synthesis, giving rise to more than 90% of nuclear RNA. These RNA transcripts also undergo RNA processing, giving rise to rRNA and tRNA. Addition of methylated cap at the 5 prime end of primary transcript. The initial RNA transcript gets modified at its 5 prime end, gains a methylated guanine, and its 3 prime end is poly A tails. Capping at 5 prime end occurs rapidly after transcription starts and much before completion of transcription. Transcription starts with a nucleoside triphosphate A or G, and a 5 prime triphosphate group is retained at this first position. The initial sequence at 5 prime end of mRNA is therefore 5 prime PPPA or G, P and P 3 prime. To the 5 prime end is added a terminal G with the help of guanyl transferase as follows: 5 prime GPP plus 5 prime PPA, P and P gives to 5 prime GPP, 5 prime AP and P plus PP plus P. The new G residue is in the reverse orientation with respect to all other nucleotides and undergoes methylation at its 7th position using a methyl transferase. Many eukaryotic methyl transferases are capping enzymes that catalyze the formation of the 5 prime cap in the co-transcriptional modification of messenger RNA. Because the 5 prime end of the RNA molecule ends in a phosphate group, the bond formed between the RNA and the GTP molecule is an unusual 5 prime triphosphate linkage instead of the 3 prime 5 prime linkages between the other nucleotides that form an RNA strand. The cap with a single methyl group at this terminal G residue is found in unicellular eukaryotes and described as cap 0, but in most eukaryotes methyl group may also be present at 2 prime position of sugar moiety, so that with methyl groups at 2 terminal nucleotides it is now described as cap 1. In still other cases, that is 10 to 15% of all caps, methyl group may be present at the 3rd base, also at the 2 prime position of sugar at this cap is now described as cap 2 and is shown in this figure. It is estimated that at a particular moment only approximately 20% of mRNA is capped following transcription. It could be shown that removal of cap leads to loss of translation activity due to loss of the formation of mRNA ribosome complex. It suggests that the cap helps in recognition of the ribosome. Caps may be absent only in some eukaryotic mRNAs, as those for histone proteins, and may not be required for translation. Polyadenylation, poly A, and the generation of 3 prime end. The 3 prime terminal stretch of A residues is often described as the poly A tail. mRNA with this feature is denoted poly A plus. The 3 prime end of mRNA is generated as follows: 1. Nuclease activity cuts the transcript at an appropriate position. 2. Poly A is added to the newly generated end by poly A polymerase enzyme, which adds approximately 200 A residues to the free 3 prime OH end of mRNA, utilizing ATP as a substrate. The poly A tail of mRNA is associated with a protein the poly A binding protein, that is PABP. One PABP monomer of approximately 70 kDa is bound to every 10 to 20 bases of the poly A tail. Estimations have shown that approximately 30% of hnRNA and approximately 70% of mRNA are polyadenylated. In a region 11 to 30 nucleotides upstream of the site of poly A addition, there is a sequence AAU AAA in all higher eukaryotes except yeast, which perhaps gives a signal for cleavage as shown in this figure. Binding of the PABP to the initiation factor ELF4G generates a closed loop in which 5 prime and 3 prime end of the mRNA find themselves held in the same protein complex. The formation of this complex may be responsible for some of the effects of poly A on the properties of mRNA. The ability of poly A to protect mRNA against degradation requires binding of the PABP. In most histone proteins mRNAs, no polyadenylation at 3 prime end is found, so that 3 prime ends are processed without addition of poly A. The U7 snRNA consisting of 56 bases long and not related with other snRNAs involved in spliceosome is involved in this processing through extensive complementary base pairing with histone mRNAs or hnRNAs. Other proteins may also be involved in processing of 3 prime end of mRNA, whether or not it is polyadenylated. Removal of poly A inhibits the initiation of transcription in vitro, and depletion of PABP has the same effect in yeast in vivo. These effects could depend on the binding of PABP to the initiation complex at the 5 prime end of mRNA. In some cases, mRNAs are stored in a non-polyadenylated form and poly A tail is added when their translation is required. In other cases, poly A plus mRNAs are deadenylated and their translation is reduced. Let us look into the phenomena of RNA splicing. In eukaryotes, almost invariably the RNA transcribed from DNA undergoes RNA splicing to yield mature RNA sequences, that is rRNA, mRNA, tRNA. It involves removal of sequences mainly introns in split genes. When this splicing takes place in all cells without any variation, it is described as constitutive splicing in contrast to alternative splicing, which differs in space and time. The mechanisms for RNA splicing include: 1. Self splicing of fungal mitochondrial and other group 1 introns. 2. Self splicing of mitochondrial group 2 introns through Lerite formation without assistance from spliceosomes or any proteins. 3. Splicing of higher eukaryotic nuclear introns through the formation of spliceosomes at intron exon junctions. And 4. Splicing of yeast tRNA precursor molecules by cleavage due to endonuclease followed by fusion due to ligase. Self splicing of group 1 introns. Self splicing of RNA molecules involves group 1 introns found in rRNA genes of Physarum and tetrahymena nuclei in phage T4 and in fungal mitochondria. It takes place through 2 trans-esterification reactions, that is exchange of phosphate esters which leave the total number of phosphodiester bonds unchanged. Group 1 introns are characterized by: 1. The absence of conserved sequences at splicing junction, and by 2. The presence of short conserved consensus sequences internally. In the first transesterification, the 5 prime splice site is cleaved as G is added to the 5 prime end of intervening sequence to be cleaved. In the second transesterification step, the 3 prime splice site is cleaved as the exons are joined as shown in this figure. The excised intervening sequence, that is IVS or intron, can form a circle by cyclization reaction, and these circles can again regenerate linear molecules due to autocatalysis. It means that excised IVS RNA and truncated versions of the IVS RNA also act as ribozymes to cleave, join or dephosphorylate RNA substrates. As indicated earlier, all group 1 introns have some short consensus sequences which allow intramolecular base pairing to generate a characteristic secondary structure within an intron. A characteristic feature of this secondary structure is the pairing between 2 ends of an intron with the help of an internal guide sequence IGS, as seen in this figure. Internal base pairing is facilitated by the presence of 2 pairs of elements, one P and Q, each 10 bases long, of which 6 to 7 bases are involved in pairing. 2 R and S elements, each 12 bases long, of which only 5 are involved in pairing, and this is shown in this figure. Any mutations in this consensus sequence have been shown to stop RNA self splicing, indicating the significance of consensus sequence in splicing. In the presence of group 1 introns, self splicing of RNA can be achieved even in bacterial cells. This has been shown by inserting a group 1 intron interrupting the coding sequence of beta galactosidase enzyme. When such an interrupted gene for beta galactosidase is inserted in E. coli, the latter was found to be capable of synthesizing functional beta galactosidase enzyme. This suggested that group 1 intron in the RNA transcribed within E. coli was capable of self splicing. However, introns with conserved splicing junctions found in higher eukaryotes need spliceosomes formed by snRNA molecules and therefore cannot be spliced out in bacterial cells. Splicing of group 2 introns. Mitochondrial group 2 introns resemble nuclear introns and are excised as lariat like nuclear introns. They have consensus sequences at the splicing junctions GT and APY and a branch sequence resembling TACT AAC box. The splicing reaction is autonomous, unlike that in the nuclear introns, where transacting snRNPs take part in the formation of spliceosomes. Splicing in these group 2 introns give rise to lariat directly, which then give rise to a linear form having no activity. This self splicing reaction is an intermediate step between RNA mediated self splicing in group 1 introns and protein dependent RNA splicing of nuclear introns, and this is very well depicted in the following figure. Self splicing through formation of hammerhead. In case of viroids, that is naked infectious RNA molecules capable of replicating, and virusoids or satellite RNA, that is encapsulated with the plant viruses and incapable of replicating independently, a consensus sequence forms a hammerhead secondary structure as seen in this figure, which helps in self cleavage. Splicing of eukaryotic hnRNA through spliceosomes or snurposomes. The two features significant in the introns of eukaryotic nuclear genes are: one, The two ends of an intron do not have complementary base sequence to allow formation of secondary structures, as has been shown for group 1 introns. 2. The exon intron junctions always have the same sequences, so that an intron in RNA transcript starts with GU, that is 5 prime, and ends in AG, that is 3 prime. This is sometimes described as GU-AG rule. Formation of spliceosome or SNRPosome. The splicing of nascent mRNA molecule is a complicated process. It requires the cooperation of several small RNAs and proteins that form a large complex called spliceosome. Splicing of intron sequences of eukaryotic hnRNA involves formation of spliceosome complex followed by excision of intron sequence through lariat formation. The major components of the splicing machinery are snRNPs consisting of RNAs and proteins. The snRNAs are designated as U1, U2, U4, U5 and U6, that is U-rich snRNAs. The role of snRNPs in splicing is the association with other essential protein factors and pre-mRNA. The snRNPs form a macromolecular complex known as spliceosome, the size of which is 40 to 60 nanometer. The left splicing junction GU is recognized by U1 snRNA and the right splicing junction is recognized by U5. U2 snRNA recognizes another consensus sequence called branch site present within the intron. Two other snRNAs, U4 and U6, are also involved in the formation of spliceosome, but the exact role is not known. The first step involves association of U2 snRNP followed by addition of U5 and U4 or U6 as a single complex. Formation of lariat during splicing. Nuclear splicing, where spliceosome is formed, involves formation of a structure known as lariat. This occurs in two stages. 1. A cut is made at the left end of the intron, releasing a separate RNA molecule with a left exon and a right RNA molecule with intron and the right exons. The two RNA molecules are held together due to components of spliceosome. The right intron exon molecule is not linear, but the left RNA molecule is linear. The 5 prime end of intron exon molecule gets linked by a 5 prime 2 prime bond to the A of the sequence CUG-AC is located, that is 30 bases upstream of the right end of the intron. This linkage generates a lariat. Second, cutting at the right splicing junction releases a free intron in lariat form and the left exon is ligated to the right exon. The lariat is debranched to give a linear excised intron which is rapidly degraded. Splicing of introns using RNA maturases or endonucleases. In fungal mitochondria and chloroplast, introns of group 1 and group 2 are known, which are involved in the synthesis of a protein RNA maturase. This maturase causes the splicing of the intron carrying the coding sequence of the same maturase. Maturases facilitates the folding and efficient splicing of the introns. Maturases contains dozens of functionally characterized proteins and several times that number of sequenced ORFs. These enzymes are usually pseudosymmetric monomers that contain two copies of their namesake sequence motif, but can also be homodimers with one copy of the motif per subunit. Monomeric homing endonucleases are also found associated with indeins. Homodimeric enzymes recognizes palindromic target sites and pseudopalindromic variants, whereas enzyme monomers recognize asymmetric DNA target sites. This maturase is believed to be responsible for splicing out the second intron, thus producing the mRNA, which will then disrupt the reading frame for maturase and will be translated into cytochrome B as shown in this figure. Here, splicing through the synthesis of a RNA maturase using a negative feedback loop is shown. An example of this splicing mechanism is found in the mitochondrial gene for cytochrome B, also called Box gene. It has been shown that successive splicing in mRNA leads to the production of overlapping proteins. In other words, an intermediate mRNA molecule has an exon sequence consisting of 144 codons, which is read with a part of the intron as an open reading frame to give rise to the protein RNA maturase. This open reading frame is actually generated by splicing of the first intron. It is not necessary that the maturase has a catalytic activity, but may only recognize the splicing site, so that the splicing is achieved by a complex consisting of maturase and other proteins and or RNA molecules. Yeast tRNA splicing by cutting and rejoining. About 40 genes of approximately 400 genes for yeast nuclear tRNAs are interrupted, each with a single intron consisting of 14 to 46 base pair, located one nucleotide away from 3' end of anticodon. This intron, which may differ in different tRNA genes, has no consensus sequence, but has a sequence complementary to the anticodon. This leads to pairing between anticodon and intron, giving a secondary structure, which is recognized by the splicing machinery as detailed in this figure. The splicing requires two steps. One, phosphodiester bond cleavage by an endonuclease. This does not require ATP. And two, ligation reaction, which requires ATP and involves bond formation with the help of RNA ligase. Let us summarize the following discussion on post-transcriptional processes: RNA processing, splicing, capping and polyadenylation. RNA synthesis or transcription is the process of transcribing DNA nucleotide sequence information into RNA sequence information. RNA synthesis is catalyzed by a large enzyme called RNA polymerase. RNA synthesis takes place in three stages: initiation, elongation and termination. The initial products of transcription are further processed in eukaryotes. The most extensively modified transcription product is pre-mRNA. Most pre-mRNA molecules undergo post-transcriptional modifications, such as modification of 5' end by capping, that is addition of 7-methyl guanine, modification of 3' end by a tail, that is polyadenylation, after enzymatic cleavage and splicing out of intron sequences from RNA transcripts of interrupted genes. The splicing of mRNA precursors is carried out by spliceosomes. The 5' end of mRNA become capped, and cap is formed by adding G to the terminal base of the transcript via a 5' link. 1 to 3 methyl groups are added to the ribosome of the new terminal guanine. A length of approximately 200 nucleotides long poly A is added to a nuclear transcript after transcription and is bound by a specific protein PABP, which stabilizes mRNA against degradation. I will give you certain assignments based on the discussions what we had. 1. What is the functional effect of the additional methylation of caps 1 and 2 as compared to cap 0? 2. How the poly A tail stabilizes eukaryotic mRNA? 3. Describe the post-transcriptional modification of hnRNA in eukaryotes. 4. Describe different known mechanisms of RNA splicing. And 5th, write short notes on polyadenylation. I will also give you certain references for your further reading. One book with the title Biochemistry 5th edition, authored by Berg, Timsko, Stryer in the year 2008 and published by Freeman and Company, New York, USA. A second book is with the title Cell Biology, authored by Karp in 2014, published by John Wiley & Sons, Singapore. A third book is with the title Molecular Biology of the Cell 5th edition, authored by Alberts, Johns, Lewis, Raff, Roberts and Walter in the year 2007, published by Garland Science, New York and London. Yet another reference is with the title Genes 9, authored by Levin in the year 2007, published by Johns and Bartlett Publishers, Sudbury, Massachusetts. A fifth book is with the title Biochemistry, authored by Davidson and Sitman in the year 1997, published by Waverly, New Delhi. Another reference is with the title Principles of Genetics, authored by Gardner and Nustad in the year 1984, published by John Wiley, New York. Yet another reference book is with the title Principles of Genetics, authored by Sinnett, Dunn and Dobzhansky in the year 1958, published by McGraw-Hill, New York. I will also give you certain websites for your further reference. First one is www.bioencyclopedia.org. A second one is www.oxfordgenetics.com. Now, we have come to the end of this session. We will meet in another session with a new topic. Until then, bye.